Good afternoon, and welcome to another exciting episode of Wadley Motorsports Entertainment. We have an unusual activity this afternoon. We're going to be unboxing something from a person I very much like and am a huge fan of. His name's Eric July. He is from Dallas. We actually had the opportunity to meet him back in June at the Nerdrotic Geeks and Gamers. How many other people sponsored that event? I watch a lot of YouTube channels, and they're also several of them are sort of intermingled, and they're all friends with each other and whatnot. It was Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers. Oh, the RK Outpost. Quarter Black Garrett. Can't remember the name of his channel at the moment. Several other people. Ivan Ortega, Brittany Venti. My brain, ADHD sucks. My brain is struggling to remember. Comics Division. Jay from Drunk 3PO. That's killing me. My brain sucks. I'm having a hard time remembering. There were quite a few people there. At any rate, we all very much enjoyed ourselves. These are people who I have come to sort of view as a sort of hero and role model that of something I'm trying to build here on YouTube. And one of the people I most enjoy is Eric July, who is on YouTube as Young Ripper 59, and he had a music career. Used to do I suppose you can call it metal and rock and things of that nature. So he toured around for a while as a musical artist, and then started doing YouTube videos. Started off very basic, and then just got better, reinvested in himself and in his business, and did fantastically. And now has, I don't even know how many millions of viewers on YouTube. And I love his commentary. He's a libertarian who speaks out against the left wing woke crap that has just pervaded the culture since, well. Most of the people I watch, they think it started around 2015 or so. Some people think it started around the development of the Star Trek movie prior to 2009 with Jar Jar Abrams and Alex Kurtzman. I'm of the opinion that the whole thing started between 2004 and 2006 when they decided to make Obama the de facto leader of the Democrat Party, and him and his supporters are extremely radical people. Well, he's not, but the people who support him are. And they allowed that sort of wing to get into the Democrat Party, and they started kicking out people like Joe Lieberman and moderates and anyone really who worked with the Republicans at all. And it just started this purge on that side of the aisle where the only people really left over there now are all the radical dipshits. And it's gotten to the point now where obviously with the culture, everything is just full tilt Marxist woke. So this is a person who is outstanding moral character, very entertaining, and I was very, very honored to meet him up in Dallas. And he, in addition to the commentary on a lot of these social and political issues, he decided that instead of sitting around and doing nothing about it, he was going to take, from my understanding, and I might have my facts wrong, around $200,000 of investment, and decided to do something about it by creating alternative media, because he's a huge supporter of that, and I have grown to become a follower of that as well. The best way to beat this crap is to outcompete it. It's really the answer to everything in society is competition. So he is a huge advocate for alternative sources of entertainment and creating alternative marketplace where the left has their sphere and the right has their sphere, and never the two shall meet. So he invested about $200,000 in starting a comic book company called the Rippaverse. And I ordered mine back in, I think it went live in mid-July, if I recall correctly, or mid-August. I think it might have been mid-August. At any rate, ordered mine. I have never actually bought a comic book in my life. I am a huge sci-fi fan. I became something of a Marvel fan after the movies came out. I was never really a comic book guy before that, but I'm a huge science fiction fan, especially Star Trek. And, yeah, So I kind of got into it. And I've been waiting on my first copy of the first edition to arrive since I ordered it. I don't know how much regular comic books cost, but this one set me back about $55, and it's worth every penny. I haven't even opened it yet to tell you, but it's worth every penny. Even if it's not of the highest quality, which knowing him, it will be. But before we get to the festivities, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a catch up here. Let's say, so I guess this was, no, he did launch it in July. Okay. I stand corrected. It was July. So, he launched it in July, and within 4 days, on a $200,000 investment, had $1.7 million in revenue. That's how thirsty the marketplace is for non-woke content. It didn't take long for the idiots on the left to strategically, well, I say the word idiots, that's not accurate, corrupt people on the left, to ban any mention of his new comic books on Reddit, the Marvel fan pages on Facebook, and all kinds of other places on the internet, trying to pretend that this doesn't exist, and anybody who mentions it is usually kicked out of these groups, so that they're trying to keep it away from people who read comic books. Yeah, but he made an absolute ton in 4 days. On a $200,000 investment, $1 million. The final tally, as I understand it, was somewhere around $3.5 million, of which I'm happy to say I contributed. Here's another article he has. Rippaverse, Eric July wins big while humiliating the old guard. Pre-order sales, let's see here. It was already, when they wrote this, it was approaching 2.5 million. The original campaign objective was about 100,000. He figured with the $200,000 investment that it would take a bit longer to recoup that. Thank God, he was very wrong. He's never been happier to be wrong. It's one of the few things I've seen him be wrong about. Yeah. It really... I wish I was more creative because, like I said, there is a thirst in the marketplace for conservative, libertarian, hell, even liberal or moderate, anything that's either non-political or not full-tilt Marxist left. There's just a huge thirst for it. So it's one of the reasons I started to do this channel, which I'm hoping within a year or two might catch on. Nothing like, obviously, what he's been able to accomplish. Because, frankly, he's much more talented than I am. Get to this other one. Eric July launches his own comic book universe after getting tired of politically fueled entertainment, and so on and so forth. I'm going to play the video for you of what his objectives are in creating this universe, and then we're going to go ahead and open sesame.
I'm Eric July, founder, owner, and writer. Welcome to the Rippaverse. The Rippaverse is the result of a comic book lifer that wanted to be a part of the solution instead of always griping about the problem. Now, don't get me wrong, this was always a part of my aspirations. However, the current climate certainly sped things up. You've watched some of your favorite comic book characters be bastardized to the point to where they're completely unrecognizable. They're just used as career stepping stones for a lot of writers that don't care about the lore.
It's not just, he's addressing comic books specifically, but it's not just comic books. The big thing really started with Star Trek, where they hijacked and took that franchise down. And that was before race, or that was even a part of it. It was just lazy writing by dishonest, corrupt people between 2006 and 2009. But yeah, it has infected every industry now.
Even despise their fans. Those are people that just want to tell stories that represent their social political views, even if they don't make sense for the characters that they're writing. And of course, these mega corporations that control these properties don't exactly make it easy for you to get in and understand what's canon. So maybe it's time for something new. We are a comic book company first and foremost that will never be forgotten no matter how big this venture gets. And we are guided by a set of principles known as the Rippaverse ethic. You will find this on a page in every...
Imagine that! Accountability from a business. Brilliant concept. Needs to spread around the world.
Single book that we release, and it's a set of standards that we certainly want you to hold us to. There are three main things that we will always emphasize. Number one, respect the customer. We aren't...
And the people who have been in control of the Star Trek franchise have not respected slightly more than half the fan base since that time. And to that effect, fuck Jar Jar Abrams and fuck Alex Kurtzman. He's a huge fan of comics, and he's seen what they've done to his industry. It's the same thing. It's just all different avenues of the culture.
Owed your dollar, but we love to have you as longtime supporters. It's going to be up to us to keep you interested and invested. Now, anytime there's passion involved, there's going to be those conflicts, but we'll respect you. So as long as you respect us, it's all about reciprocity. Our second point of emphasis is canon and continuity. This is an ever-expanding universe. There's going to be many of characters that will be introduced. But when you buy a book from us, you own a piece of history. It matters. These events will not be erased by way of time travel or some multiversal aspect. And number three, a comprehensive timeline. No matter when you jump into this space, we want to make it easy for you to get caught up on some characters that you're interested in, so we're going to keep the reboots to a minimum. Now don't worry, we know that picking up the pieces is part of the fun, so we're not going to exactly hold your hand. And while I personally value liberty, we're not going to beat you over the head with on-the-nose current politics and current narratives that will completely contradict what it is that we're trying to do here. So whether you're into our main character in our first book, Isom, or you're into Yaira, or you're interested in all of them, we'll certainly have you as a customer. Your ethnic background or genetic makeup is wholly irrelevant to us.
Say it louder for the people in the back! This is the difference between the right wing and the left wing. And he's a libertarian, which is sort of in the middle, but more towards the right wing. We don't care what you look like. We don't look at people in terms of group identity. Everyone's an individual. There are good white people, and there are bad white people. There are good black people, and there are bad black people. There are good Hispanic people, and there are bad Hispanic people. There are good Asian. All different kinds of Asian. Good people and bad people. My best friend is Filipino. I've got family members that are black. I've got my whole neighborhood is black. They're wonderful people. What you look like does not determine how far you succeed in life. This is a man who understands this. What you look like doesn't matter. Who you are as a person in terms of your character, your integrity, your responsibility, accountability, honesty. All of these things matter. What you look like doesn't mean shit. That was the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream that my 4 little girls will someday not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. This is not only true for real people, but also fictional characters. And businesses. And governments. And everybody. Identity politics is a form of Marxism. And I wholly reject all of it. The only thing that leftists are oppressed by is their own stupidity. If you're not succeeding in this world, and it's due to things that you can control but choose not to, your fault. Now, the things you can't control, because I have an autistic son who can't control some of his muscle movements and some things like that, the things you can't control, that's a separate discussion. We don't generally hold people as a society accountable for things they legitimately cannot control. But the things you can control, like character, that is how you shall be judged. And that will also explain how far you go in this life. This is why I'm a huge fan of this man.
Now, previously being part of comic book fandoms myself, I understand the importance of them. We'll do our jobs to preserve the sanctity on the business end, and we hope you will help us preserve a more healthy and thriving fandom. If we manage to do that, we're going to be very competitive in this market, and we're going to make our mark on this industry. We're not going to be perfect. Errors will be made, but we won't let that stop us from being great. So visit Rippaverse.com, where we have our own unique store that is tailor-made for our audience. A lot of our stuff will be released in campaign format with limited edition items, and once they're gone, they're gone. We'll be making books that expand across many different genres, so I'm very confident that we'll have something that is right for you in a series that you'll make your favorite. And one last thing. I started this company with no external investors, and that's something that I like to remain true. Sure, we want to expand in many different avenues, video games, animation, maybe even live action movies, but not if it means selling off assets. We only answer to the customer. We don't want to make the same mistake as the other guys.
I believe he's referring to many things in the comic book culture that I'm not entirely familiar with, because I don't really collect comic books, but when Marvel had to sell off Spider-Man to Sony and had to sell off the Hulk, I believe, to Universal. And I can't remember who else got what rights to what before Disney owned Marvel. But yeah, generally that, where you give somebody the rights to your stuff, hoping that they're good people of good moral character who will respect that which you have made, and then they don't. This has been a problem, the latest version of which has been Tolkien with Amazon's garbage feminist woke copy. No, not even copy. That's not, it's too high a compliment. Piss poor imitation of the mastery of J.R.R. Tolkien. This is the problem when you sell your stuff to people who don't give about you and just want to use your stuff for political goals. He's committed to not doing that. Thank God. The Rippaverse. So, put that logo in the corner right there. There you go. So, that's who we are. That's who we're dealing with. We're huge fans of it. He's right up the road, 2.5 hours north of us in Dallas. Like I said, I'm very appreciative that I was able to meet him and his lovely wife, Lady Rippa. We watch them, whenever he comes out with a new video. Although that's been less since he got into this because, well, frankly, he's busy as hell. Making money. He plays Mario Kart every Sunday night with Geeks and Gamers and their crew. He's been on a few other... Oh, he's on the Blaze TV, too, which we need to get. Yeah, love his work. Anyway, let's dive in to this, which we got right here. Let's see what we have. May have to... If I can stand up for that one. You can see. That is very well protected. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Isom number 1. First comic book I have ever purchased. Because I'm not a comic book person. You would think I would be, because I'm a kind of a visual learner with ADHD and all that. I don't know why, I just never really got into comic books. I think because of some of the reasons he described, because they reboot themselves so frequently that, like, whenever you do that, it sort of takes away from the meaningfulness of the previous story. So, I don't know. Man, it just never really appealed to me until the Marvel movies came out, which... And that's the difference between DC and Marvel. The MCU was successful in a way that the DCEU never was. And the reason for that is continuity of universe. Until it went full tilt and woke. I'm going to try to be careful with this. Alright. Got that there. Now, I'm not going to... Well, I'll show you the first page there, because I don't want to give away the content for free. But it is very... My God, the quality. Again, I'm no expert, but it's not like a... It's not like a thin comic book. I'm not going to give away any of the story elements, because I want to help this man accomplish his goals, but I will be reading this later on tonight. There's another character in there he was talking about called Yara. Alpha Corps is a team of heroes called Alpha Corps. So I had to read this and actually get the story of and the gist of what's going on. Oh, they do have some advertisers in here. Yeah, that's cool. As far as I can tell, the artwork is nuts. I'm no expert, because this is the first one I've owned. So you're going to have to refer to other people who are an expert in the quality of artwork. But from a layman's perspective, this is really good. I'm not surprised, though, because as I understand it, they got people who used to work for DC and Marvel to actually do this artwork. So, because he's committed to, like, the highest quality possible. But yeah, I think, I believe it was 2 artists who were kind of fed up with the politics of what was going on at DC and Marvel. And again, I don't have the information in front of me, but he's talked about it in interviews. This is really good. Again, I'm just perusing through. I'm not reading the story yet. I'll do that later today. And I can't really do a review of the story because that would give it away, and I don't want to give away the product because I want to help this man accomplish his goals, because frankly, he's just too damn talented. He deserves all the support, especially, I mean, look at the product. Like I said, I ain't never bought a comic book in my life, and I don't know what they cost, but this one cost me, including the ship, at $55, and I'm very happy with my purchase so far. And again, I haven't seen the story yet. Gee, that right there. Just that right there. No. Yeah. With the hat on. Taxation is theft. Which it is. Legalized theft of your pocket by the government. And I want to get a picture of that and frame it. I didn't used to be on board the whole taxation is theft bandwagon, but the last few years, like I used to make, rationalizations, excuses when I was younger about, oh, the government's trying to help this, or trying to help that. And no, it needs to stop. Ooh, this is in it. Norfolka? I'm not sure who they are. I'll have to read into that later. Next on Isom number 2, Ill-Advised Part 2. And there it is, the most important part of the book. Respect the source material. The Rippaverse ethic. And this is exactly what it says here, as I showed you in that video. Accountability to the customer. A concept that used to be everywhere in every industry, but in so many industries, especially the ones with fucking unions, where accountability to the customer is nothing. We only care about our corrupt employees and this and that, whatever, and we don't want to put out the best quality product. We shouldn't have to compete. We're entitled to the dollar of the customer. It's the ethos of all 3 American car companies, which I absolutely hate. The union mindset. Nope, not this. This is the exact polar opposite of that. I love it. I might. There's card. I must have missed it. There's cards with this. I might have to get these too. There's cards that have more background information about some of the characters in the Rippaverse. Shit, I need to get those. I remember hearing about that on Nerdrotic and also as from Heel vs. Babyface. Yeah. Published and distributed by Rippaverse Publishing, McKinney Street, Denton, Texas. All right, well, I'm going to be reading this later, but so you can see, $55, very well spent. And I haven't even read the story yet. So, that's going to be all I have for you today. I highly recommend going out and getting yourself a copy of Isom #1 for Mr. Ripper. And you have yourself a good day, and we will see you in the next one.